Hello and welcome to folks joining on the phone. Uh, and let me hook up Facebook as well. Just give me a second here. And we're live on Facebook, I think. I've given up on kind of monitoring everything. All right, let's see who is on the phone. Amy, hello and welcome back. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome. Yeah, this noon hour is kind of my power hour now, at least for this week. Carl is here. How's it going, Carl? Well, there are two Carls here. Carl Hooker. I know you as the ham operator. I know that's your side project, but I think I'm always going to remember you with that project. And we have Carl Walton as well, and Shachin is here as well. Awesome, my friend. So if you are,
Yes, good afternoon from East Coast.
sorry, who was that speaking? Shachin, right?
This is Sachin. Yeah, yeah.
All
Good
right. Well,
afternoon from East Coast. Yeah.
awesome, awesome. All right, and if you are watching me on YouTube, come say hi. Don't be shy. And actually, let me open up that chat. Three. Oh wow, lots of chat already in there. Good, that's good. Love that. I don't know. Actually, hold on, guys. Let me bring up the chat, and we're good to go.
And I'm not sure if you got my question, Abhi. This is Sachin again. I had sent you a question on Query Editor.
Yeah, I got a.
I can resend it.
No, no, no. If it's
Through
you
chat.
send it in the email or either in the Facebook group, we can definitely pick that up, and yeah, we'll definitely go through that. So,
Okay,
okay.
thanks.
All right. Just want to shout out to my YouTube friends. How do I do this? And I see who's on. Jannik is here. It looks like Jannik has, well, first one to say hi at least. So Jannik is asking about how to share a file. The best way is share it via OneDrive, Dropbox, G Drive, or whatever other file sharing, and then I say share via link. So I get a link. Usually, most of these services you can just right click on those and say, hey, give me a link, and yeah, I go from there. Okay, cool. The audio is working. So that's how you can share a file. Jannik is working at a bus company in Denmark. Perfect. I love that. I love hearing about different companies, different kind of verticals. Yeah, never ceases to amaze me. I've heard some spicy examples too. I think my most exotic, I would say, was when I was running a Power BI dashboard for a beauty pageant. Whole another story. Whole another story. I wouldn't go there. Not enough time. So he has a question about relationships. Da da da. Okay, let me just say hi to everybody. I'm Jannik. I'll come back to your question. Rick from Netherlands, welcome back. I think I saw you yesterday as well. Kamesh is here from India. It's pretty late there, so I really appreciate you staying up. White say hi again for this third evening. Welcome back, my friends. Good to have you back. A Badmus says hi. Shubharaj from India again. That's awesome. And Abbas from UAE. If you're kind of lurking on the group, come on, just say hi. So you know what? So yeah, this is day 3, and the whole how do I do this? And again, you can go to learnpowerbi.com/challenge and sign up. And if you do sign up, it takes you to the information page. So just to kind of level set everybody, the goal for this was really to get you into action mode. I mean, the best learning comes from doing. So I don't want you sitting on the sidelines working with AdventureWorks forever or not doing anything at all. That's the worst thing. But dive in with your own data. That's what I love saying. Now, if you're just starting out, then play it safe. Just follow my tutorial. It's okay to stay in AdventureWorks, but that's where the real payoff is when you see your own data. I know so when I go do live classes now, I do that very rarely. But when I used to do them, I would go in and I would use their data, and it doesn't matter. I could show a simple example, but I would just see the eyes light up. Like, oh, is Is that how many times our customers come back with the same complaint or whatever, right? Doesn't matter. So that's the whole goal. We are into day 3. I'm going to focus a little bit more on DAX today. And again, I'm going to keep the teaching to a minimum. And I want to get to your questions as soon as possible. Tomorrow, we're going to do a little more DAX. If you notice from the last challenge, there was our day 1 visualization. But anybody who's in my course, you've seen the content. I'm a few fan. I really believe in simplicity, KISS, keep it simple, and less is more. I mean, I think we don't need to build those fancy, shock everybody's senses dashboards. Just basic elements look good. So, I mean, if somebody wants, I can regurgitate my lessons from Stephen Few if you want to talk about visualization. We're going to have so Thursday, March 29th is, I think the cat is out of the bag. So that one is doors open for my course again. So enrollment is opening Thursday 29th. Big day for me. I hope you're excited about that too. And we're going to run something, I haven't made up my mind, where if you're part of the challenge, you're going to have a chance to, and if you're not already a student, you're going to have a chance to win a seat in my course. And day 5 is going to be the Talk Power BI Marathon. I've only done this once. This is going to be an all-day live. It's going to be crazy. Okay, cool. So yeah, once you sign up, you're going to have the links to my notes, all sorts of cool stuff. So with that, let me check. Let me say hi to see if somebody else joined. Heather is here as well. Hello, Heather. How are you doing? And I think I got everybody else. Cool. So on the phone, I'm going to teach you a little bit of content first. But even during that or later, anytime, you can freely talk to me anytime you want. Ask a question or comment on whatever I'm discussing. And sometimes, yeah, hey.
Do you need to start your stopwatch?
Oh, thank you, Carl. It is on my checklist, but hey, lots of other things to do. Thank you so much. So that, by the way, how the stopwatch helps me is if you later go to my channel and catch a recording of that. So if you go to day 2, it's going to have, look at this. How cool is that? You can just jump, I want to see what White Say was talking about, or Roberto's, and you can just, these are links. So you can just click on this one and you jump right to that spot. So I think that's really cool. So that's what the timestamp does. So let's come back, and so we are in day 3. Took me a second to collect myself. And I just want to start by teaching a little bit. So I'm going to pick up, if you remember on day 1, we had this example, and Amy had brought this into the course, and that's great. We always learn by doing too. So, and sometimes when I'm trying to teach, so one of my students, Keith Nail, his phrase is, to teach is to learn twice. And that's so true, and I love that part. So to remind everybody, the example was that we had these service tickets, and I just had a small sample set, and we're coming in with these date and time, and we wanted to figure out whether this was outside business hours. And it was based on 2 criteria. 1, if it was a weekend, then it was outside business hours, no matter what time. Otherwise, if it was on a weekday, then we had some working hours, 9 to 5 or 7 to 5, something like that. And we had defined this in here step by step. And again, you can go back to the day 1 recording to see how we did that. But of course, I had it in my notes. I didn't get a chance to discuss it, but probably some of you would have wondered about this, that is this even the right approach? So I want to go back to that, and rarely do I talk about kind of right versus wrong. Let me find the right file. But some things I'm pretty opinionated about. I'll let you hear it. But usually it's about the trade-offs. Okay, so now I built a little bit more of a data set. And this one should be time. Is there a time? All right, so here we have not too much, just, service ticket assigned, just a random name, date and time, same as before. And actually, I don't need these columns. That was just me trying to generate the data. Okay, so that's it. But really, wouldn't it be better if instead of marking that it's outside of business hours, we mark it in our calendar table? I think so, and I'll talk about why that would be better. So let's try to do that. So in here, so I'm going to compare and contrast. I wish I could do this in different colors. Maybe I'll do that. So this one, the old color is going to be blue, I guess. So in here, let's step back. We had done this. For every day, we had said, well, is it a weekday or a weekend? Figured that out. And then we had looked at the time and seen if it was within the range of our business hours, and then marked what was it after hours. And then we had combined these two to determine, well, if either it was on weekend or it was after hours, we had marked it outside business hours. So that's what we had done last time. But I really think we should do it in the calendar table. So let's go back to our new model. And I'm not even going to mark it here. I'm going to mark it in a calendar table. And do I have a weekday? I already have a weekday. Now, I mean, again, man, wouldn't be and I keep saying that it'll be nice to have an insert column here thing. I should submit that as an idea. Krishna Kishore, hello, my friend. Haridas, hi to you. Okay, let's go add column, and I'm going to say, oh gosh, I don't have to do anything. It already has the weekday, weekend. So let's see how that's going to play out in our data set. Ooh, I'm so excited about this. So again, the weekday, weekend marking, I don't have it in my service tickets. I don't have to label each and every service ticket. And that is going to be actually a huge benefit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to define a simple measure, count of service tickets. And so I'll say service ticket count equal count rows, service tickets. And there's so many count functions. I've only used 2 in my whole life: count rows and distinct count. Same with time intelligence. It's got so many functions. But guys, you learn some basic techniques, and sure, you can get fancier, but you don't always need to. So let's stick that in there. A big card. Let's see how many do we have. Come on. 1,000. Okay. Random data. Yeah, okay, great. But let's see if we can say pie chart. Okay, pie chart I pause because Stephen Few, my mentor for visualization, he's not a huge fan of pie charts. But, okay, I think he'll forgive me for this once. So weekday, weekend, we stick it on there. And boom, 50-50, of course, random data. So that makes sense. But yeah, we can analyze it by that. And we can, of course, analyze it by weekday as well. And don't want that. And oh gosh, I wish I had somehow. Oh, actually, that's not working. Oh wait, no. So I take it all back. The table is not related. Let's see. It is random data, but it's supposed to work better than this. So let's hook them up. Date is right here. Date and date. And again, even with 2 tables, I follow my best practice, which is lookup table stays up top, data table stays at the bottom. And I also sometimes make the data table bigger, even if it has just a few columns. Just the way because again, for me, the delineation, fancy word, is important. Is very important. It's critical, in fact. So, I want to see. Okay, better. Whew. So that actually makes more sense. Even with random data, it should be 2/7 of that, which makes sense. So weekend and weekday, 70%. Why is the hover not changing? Oh, it's changing. Kind of weird. That behavior is certainly weird. So check this out. If I hover over here, it doesn't change if I go over there. If I start here, then it stays the same. Anyway. All right, so he's got the right numbers, and a weekday is not sorted right. So let's sort by weekday. Is that going to work? Oh, I got to change the sort by column. Just give me 1 second. So I'm going to go to my weekday. Oh, and somebody reminded me, one of my students, is that you don't need to go in the data view. You can do that right there. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll build that muscle memory. How about that? So I can be in here, and I can select weekday right there, and just change it right here. So weekday num. Wow, cool. So so we got our data, but again, hey, this is not what we were after. What we were after was to be able to designate how many are outside business hours. And if you remember, weekday and weekend was just one component of that. There was another component, which was the time. So for time, you can blow up your calendar table. So you can take your 365 days in a year and multiply that by 24 and track it in the same table. I don't think I've ever done that. I've always used a separate table for time. For one, it's going to make your model a little more compact. So I think I had stuck that time in a really basic timetable in there as well. Let's see, so table 2. Yep, that looks like it. Let me edit it really quick. Yep, so Ankush, hello there. Yeah, I'm going to go through all of your questions. I know some of you have submitted on Facebook. Some of you sent by email. I'll check it out. Heck, I don't have anything after this, guys. You know, yeah. So I'm all yours. So time, replace current. I don't need this one. So in some sense, guys, the calendar table and in this case the timetable, they're not really different from other tables. They just have a key and attributes. So some sense, it helps almost to think of them just like the customer table. So customer has a customer key, and then customer has multiple attributes. In this case, the time one has a key, which actually I haven't made up my mind yet. What am I going to use? I think I'm going to use this. And then it has an attribute, period, shift, and it can have 10 different attributes, whatever you can come up with. So let's go back here. So now I'm going to connect the time to let me double check which one is it. Time. I think it's time period that I need to connect. I should have named them better. Let's see if it works. So now we got we come back here, and this is by day, date by day, same thing. And let's see by time. And I'm gonna grab maybe something similar. But in here, instead of weekday, I am using something in the timetable, and I'll say, oops, timetable, time period. Let's see how that looks. Wow, actually that looks great. That's phenomenal. 12. So notice in this thing that it goes 12, and then I don't have any data for 1 a.m. right? And I think I would like to see that as a gap. And I think there's an option there somewhere. Show items with no data. Are you ready? Let's try it. Okay. I think that looks slightly ugly, but that's because of my random data. Somehow it's missing every alternate hour. Must be something how I generated the data actually. So I'm gonna turn that off. I mean but in a real data set, you would see if there was, I don't know, no customer came in or no service ticket came in at middle of the night, that would be blank, but otherwise it'll be there. So random data. Okay, cool. What else can we do? We can, I'm not sure what chart would be good. Let's try this one. And instead of weekday, weekend, again, right now we're thinking about, yeah, so this is probably not the best visualization. Again, guys, if you read Stephen Few, we are really, really bad at assessing area, and that's why he doesn't like pie chart, right? So this one essentially forces us to assess the area. Is the area of night greater than afternoon? And that's such a hard task. That's just it's just hard. Versus this one, which is like easy. And this is in fact, the way I understand it, doesn't even actually go through your brain. There's some part about pre-attentive processing. So difference in length. Yeah, I mean we spend like zero brain power processing. So again, the whole idea is to kind of make it easy, make it really easy. Let the data be the hero, not your visualization, not your fancy colors. And again, everything should be intentional. If you use color, that should be intentional. Like, why is this color? Why am I using different color? Okay, cool. So again, but still, we're not at a problem yet. So we can slice and dice it by weekday and weekend. We can see, yep, weekend. These are certainly after hours, 296 outside of business hours, and we can look here and maybe add them up and say, yeah, these are after hours. But how do we do an overall count of service ticket received outside of business hours? So actually, let's do one thing in our query, we're going to add a table. So calendar had weekday and weekend, but we're going to define something here as well. So I'm going to add a custom column. Okay, cool. Custom column, and I'm going to say business hours, after hours, I don't know. Let's say business hours. Okay, let's do that, and I'm going to say if, let's do time. Let's do 9 to 5. So if it is greater than equal to 9 and time is less than equal to 5, right? Then business hours, else after hours. Okay, let's see how that looks. Oh, wait, that didn't work. I messed something up. Is greater than equal to, oh, of course, 17. Yep. So we got that. And let's go. Okay, so we got that, but how do we say, let's duplicate this. So what if we said calendar and weekday, weekend, made that a slicer, and time, made that a slicer too. So now if you wanted to, we could get that number. And we could say, let me stack it like this. So we could say, show me only weekday, that's 704, but somewhere after hours, and only business hours. So now we know. So in weekday, business hours, 236 tickets came in. But of course, not all the time. You may not want to stick a slicer in there, and you might want to show the both numbers in the same spot. So I also want to show you know, all the other ones which came outside business hours right there. How do I do that? Well, that's where your measures can come in. So we have the total service ticket count. And let's add one more. And oh, this is going to be so easy. Oops. And then we're going to come back and talk about why this approach may be better than regular one. So we're going to say business hours service ticket count is calculate total service ticket count where it has to be a weekday. So calendar, actually I can just say weekday, weekend is equal to weekday. Let's just test that, see how that looks. And I like having this one. Oops, wrong one. Okay, well, that's good enough. So total service ticket counts and business hours, that's 704. Okay, but I was going further than that. So not just weekday. Actually, what if would it be easier weekday and we have one more, which is the time business hours needs to be business hours. That's the right answer. So that should be 236. Perfect. And of course, for the other one, I love reusing measures. So we can say outside business hours service ticket count equals total minus business hours. and that's it. So come back here, and so you get the idea, right? I mean, and of course, now we can take this measure, business hours, and kind of trend it over time, trend it over days. So we can say, I just want to focus on kind of the business hour tickets and trend it maybe by kind of date. Oh, of course, it creates a hierarchy. And go from there, something like that. Okay, cool. So why is this approach, how does this approach contrast with what we had done earlier, where we had stuck the fields right in this field? So imagine if your service ticket data, so sometimes I exaggerate the problem just to kind of showcase what could go wrong. So service ticket data right now is 1,000 rows. What if it was 1 million? What if it was 100 million? What if, I don't know, 500 million, trillion rows? And if you add something on here, if you add a label here, it's going to be repeated a trillion times. Now, of course, Power BI is good at compression and it's going to try to compress the best it can, but still it's got all this data to compress. But really, we don't need that, because you don't need that at a ticket by ticket level. So now, instead of labeling each service ticket row, what we did was we labeled each calendar row. And even if you have like 5 years of or 10 years, your calendar span is 10 years, that's 3,650 rows. Well, plus leap years. That's it. That's really small. That's how many rows got an extra label saying it is a weekday or weekend. And for the timetable, again, in our case, it was at a grain of an hour. Even if you keep the timetable at the grain of a minute level, it's going to be 24 times 60. That's it. So that's still pretty small compared to adding something in your data table. So data tables, typically, you want them to be narrow and tall. Narrower, the better. So the narrower you can keep them, the better it is. And for the lookup tables, they can be fat and squat. So they can have a lot of columns, but they're not going to be really tall if you're somehow ended up with like, for example, and that's why it's better to kind of split calendar and time, because if you combine them together in one table, it'll be, exponentially bigger, right? So year times the number of times. All right, cool. So I know you guys got a lot of questions. Let's say, so on the phone, if you have any questions about what I just showed, feel free to ask that. Otherwise, let's go. Sorry, I forgot now. Who was it who reminded me on the phone that they had a question? Let's start there.
Avi, this is Shachin. I think I sent you an email this morning.
Got it. Okay.
And this was more related to the query editor, something which you used. And one suggestion I have, when you are going through these presentations, maybe you explain why you are going to take that step. That will be helpful. Because you are taking the steps.
Yeah.
If you just mention like 2 seconds why you are taking that step.
Give me an example.
I will give you.
Yeah.
I will give you the example. I will do that. Not right now.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
When you are doing it, I will give you.
Okay, maybe got it. So I think I understand what you're saying, but I think getting an example would really help me ground it. Like, oh yeah, I could have just said this is why I'm doing it.
Absolutely, I will do that.
Okay. So I'll write that down as well. Before you do it. Okay, cool. So let me go to my email and lots of emails. Got it. Okay. So I got. Let me see. So you said it was in the email. So I see your email. I'm just joining the meeting. I got that one. and then I got another one with the subject. Sorry, we got disconnected, but
yeah, no, you should have received it way earlier.
Got it. A question related query editor. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. This is well, and you can word month, whole number.
Like you're 11 a.m. or something.
Okay, let's start with that one. Well, query editor. Let's see.
Thank you.
All right, my friends. So let's go into this. I need to convert month, whole number, and year, whole number to month, end date, and week number. Ooh, week number, I don't quite know right away, but month end date should be straightforward. Okay, let's see. Existing columns are month number, month year, and how to add month end date. I got that. How to add column and a week date. Ooh, okay, let's do the first one. Let's do this. Should I do a new file? Let's do a new file. I'm going to close this one.
And I also had a question, like, is the query editor the best place to do that?
Yeah. Well, I believe so. Yeah, usually adding a column, I don't remember the last time I used DAX to do that. Because again, I mean, adding a column for me is kind of what I call cooking the data. It's a clean shape transform. And that should absolutely be in the query editor. That's the best place for it. Yeah. I mean, DAX query editor is the right place. So let's say, let's grab this one, month number 1, 2, and the next one is year 2017, 2016. Let's do one more.
Yeah, because the leap year I put that.
Yeah. Okay, and now we
Yeah,
have something else.
that should be good. Yeah.
Okay, and we're trying to get the month end date. So let's add a custom column. Month date.
Like, first, will you combine it? Like 1-2017.
Yeah.
Generally, that's how. This is why.
Yeah.
This is what I was referring to. Like, first, do you want to combine it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Year? But sometimes
I'm just giving you an example, right?
No, that's a good point. So I'll tell you, sometimes I hesitate in explaining because it used to happen to me in live training where I would go in and kind of explain a lot of stuff and then it wouldn't work. And then I would be so embarrassed, like, forget everything I said. So I want to try first to see if it works and then see I think
why you did it, right? Okay.
Yeah, there probably is a smarter way to do it. Let's just try it, see how it works. So that didn't work. Why I cannot have ampersand number and text. Fair enough. So I'm going to say, so yeah, it gave me an error saying I can't combine numbers. So I'm going to just change that to text, and I'm pretty sure that would work. So let's say, yep, change this to text, change this to text as well. Oops, I didn't want that. Okay, that worked, although it looks a little weird. Let me see if it's gonna let me convert to a date. It did. Okay, so
don't you want to put like 1-2017?
Well, so that's so I usually go with year, month, day. That way I don't have to worry about
because you don't have the date. You are looking for the month end date.
Yep, that's right. But once I have the beginning of the month, then I can do this. I can go transform, look under date, and I can say month and a month, and it'll do it for me. So yeah. So that's how I would get month.
Can you go back in that the query editor, the M formula? What did you do?
Yeah, so added custom. I just so obviously the beginning of the month is easy. So that's what I created first. So I said, yep, give me that year, 2017. Give me the month. So give me the year. Give me the month. And then I just stuck, kind of the first of the month. So that's what I'm trying to get. So I get 2017 1/1. And I usually use year, month, date because I don't know. I mean, just sometimes depending on the locale, the month, date, year, or day, month, year, it might go wrong. This one almost always works. And then once I have this, then I use the built-in ribbon functionality to convert that to end of the month. And you saw what I did. I just said transform date. And yeah, it's not a date type yet. So if you go to the next step, date and month, and yeah, it's pretty cool. It's got all sorts of other stuff too. Of course, I always advise that you turn on the formula bar and you can see what it is doing. It's using the date end of month function. And of course, if I was smart enough, I could have written that, but I don't even worry about that. Pretty much anything that I can do using the ribbon, I stay with that. Now, end of week, I don't know. Let's see. Does it have a built-in type? Transform date week. Oh my god, this is crazy. It's built in. But of course, now I will so end of week, although doesn't make sense for this data because you need the date as well. Like if you give me for the month January 2018.
So example, like first week in 2018, the
okay, got it.
1/7.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So of course, so for this one, I'm going to do add column and the same transformation. Selected, and this time I'm going to go add column, date, and week, and wait. You wanted the start of the week, right?
End of the
week. End of the first week, and I'm inserting a step. That's okay. So yeah, that's yeah. Wow. So March 1. Let me check that. March 1 was a Thursday. So end of the week on a Sunday to Saturday week is 3rd. So yeah, that's it. So that's your kind of final result. You got the end of the month and the end of that week. That was cool.
Okay. Great.
Right.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to save this in our talk Power BI file. So again, if you signed up for the challenge, that has a link in there on the challenge information page. Good question. Let me check in with my YouTube friends. 2018, so let's see, 2018 0327, and this was for Shachin. How do you spell your name? Is it SHACHIN or SACHIN?
It is SACHIN.
Okay, got it. Okay, I don't know. End of month, end of week. Whew, that was good. Whew, that was good stuff. Okay, we got that. Let me just check in on Facebook. So, Ankush posted a question. Let me just grab some of these ones here, and we will make sure we get that. So Ankush had one, and I do want to get to Jannik, who had a question. I'm not sure. Okay, he did post it in the Facebook group. Did that work? Oops. All right, let's see. Anything else? So Rick is saying, hi Avi, you mentioned Stephen Few. I'm totally a fan, but I would also recommend storytelling with data from Cole Nussbaumer. She explains the same way.
I agree with that. She has a good work.
Okay.
The storytelling with data.
Yeah, so of course, I'm not sure. I don't think I wouldn't say I have done much storytelling at all with data. I mean, I would do it, but I would do it my own way, and this was kind of way back. So, and even Power BI wasn't at that point, so I would take a lot of screenshots and do it that way. Power BI does have, yeah, I don't think I'm very cool. So definitely that's something I would like to grow in, but I see a lot of dashboards, or what should be dashboards. Like, what is the core difference between storytelling and a dashboard? And all my life, I've built kind of dashboards and reports. So for me, a dashboard and report is something that's used over and over again, probably every day, maybe multiple times a day. And I think I agree with pretty much every single sentence Stephen Fee says, that you stop caring about the bling pretty soon, pretty quickly. I mean, initially you might say, "Oh wow, this looks so beautiful," and then like, "Oh shit," but I have to think harder to really find out like what is going on. Storytelling is almost kind of a one-time thing where you're going in front of an audience, maybe the board or something, and you're gonna try to convince them of something. And yeah, so you deliver it, and yeah, it's a
Correct.
different
I
approach.
agree that it is more kind of like consultants, McKinsey or Bain. They put it one story together and then they're out.
Yeah,
So they
yeah,
need it more. And as you mentioned, your analogy that if you are trying to say something every week, every month, then you have to have a different
yeah,
methodology.
yeah. So I think a lot of people see the storytelling stuff, because I know, I mean, now, gosh, we're in the tech world. A lot of journalists use Tableau Public and this, that, and so forth. I know Microsoft has also worked with journalists to have them use this stuff, and they see that, and it looks so fascinating, and they feel like, oh, I should use it, or I want to use it, which is the worst mistake you can make. So one of my favorite examples was, and I got so happy when I saw that. So this was, let me see, I probably can't find it, but so this was the keynote presentation at the Data Insights Summit last year, and they brought a guest on stage and they showed a custom visual, and it was fancy. It was this something about historical places in England, and they were like, "Oh yeah, this is where Newton is buried," or something like that. This is where the apple fell on him, and blah blah blah. And it was a really fancy visual, and they talked about that for like, I don't know, 20 minutes. But then briefly he switched to said, "Hey, I'm gonna switch to one of the reports we use to track data," and he just showed it for 30 seconds, didn't even talk about it. But guess what was on there? It was bar chart, line chart, labels. That's it. That's it. So that's kind of the difference the way I see it. So yeah, so folks who are creating dashboards, don't look at the storytelling crowd and think you got to do the same thing. Okay, cool. But yeah, Rick, thanks for the suggestion. So folks, yeah, if you are on the storytelling side, not creating a dashboard report, then check out the book that Rick is recommending. Okay, let me go to Jannik. He was kind of the first one on the call, and let me just read through. I'm not sure what showing relationships. Really want to link to the deal. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna go to the Facebook group and find that. And let me just find that really quick. Okay, I got something from Ankush and Jannik. And Jannik is kind enough to send a file. And guys, I love that because it makes my work so much easier. So you've seen me work through the other examples. I have to create like a sample data set. Oh, okay. I didn't even know that YouTube doesn't allow you to share a link, but now I have it. I would assume, Jannik, that this is kind of public data. Oh yeah, cool. So let's download. Wow. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I'll just download it. Okay, while that's downloading, maybe I'll read what Jannik had to say here. My question is regarding relationships. I really want to link the data table, data employee R's with the lookup table locations. Okay. I have two other data tables with data regarding R's, each bus drivers, and I would connect to employee R's to see how many R's we pay for. And I want to show this in a contract level, which I can't no matter what I try. How do I succeed in linking these three tables when all they have in common is the run name? Ooh. Okay, we're gonna look at this. Let's see, what is my download? How's my download doing? Oh, there we go. So this one is 2018 0327, and this one is coming from Jannik. Thank you. Jannik, got it. Okay. Wow. I'm excited. It's gonna be good. Not this one. It says it's open. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I'm just gonna. Oh boy. So Jannik, it seems, I don't know, I just want to make sure that your data is kind of randomized, because this is obviously anybody can get to this file. Oh well, let's see. Hey Johnny, can you just type in? I just want to make sure you are here right now, because I'm pretty sure I would have some questions for you. Otherwise, I would not be able to proceed. I'm just going to look at that here. So let me see which ones is he caring about. Data, employee, hours. Got it. Data, employee, hours. And with the lookup table, locations. Okay. Got it. Jannik, so if you're on, just type something in the chat window. Hours, each bus drivers connect to the employee hours. Locations, data, employee hours. Oh boy. Okay, yeah, here. I can see that I posted a link with all the names. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll stay in this view. So I want to show this. So let's so again, guys. I mean, you've seen how I do it. Lookup tables up top, data tables at the bottom. Simple. That's the first thing I look for when I'm working with my students. And this one is close, but not really. I mean, you can see that it's kind of slightly off. So I'm just gonna move that. What I do like is that he has one directional relationships. That's the worst. If you unknowingly create a multi-relations, employee is part of departments, and which is part of run names. Yeah, see how run names are at the top, but it should be at the bottom. It's a data table, which is kind of weird. Run names, fair enough. I'll ignore this one, and let me see. So departments. So we have. I wonder if you can collapse department into employee. So again. Sometimes in a database you have what's called a third normal form, where you kind of have employee, like in product it'll have like product table and then product subcategory, product category, and in modeling it usually helps to flatten the lookup tables. So lookup tables shouldn't typically have their own lookup tables. So I think this can be flattened into this one. You know, that'll make things simpler. So employee, department, just flatten that, bring that in. Yeah, I mean, it's just one column. That's all the more reason. So I'll bring that in. We'll simplify it. So I'll in my mind, I'll treat this as one. I'm trying to see. Okay, forget it. So locations is, I see what's going on here. No, actually, I take that back. I take that all back because I think you have a data table which is at a different grain. Where is this going? Gust table. Hey guys, I mean, this is what real data looks like, right? Be careful what you wish for. Run names. Customer table. Okay, I think we're making sense of it. All right, so I think for the first round, because I know other folks are waiting too, so I'm not going to dive in too deep. I'm just going to give you a high-level answer. So let me go back to your question again. So you're saying, I want to link the data employee hours with the lookup table locations. Data employee hours, I see what you're saying. And I want to link it to location, but there's nothing in common. Nothing in common, right? Oh, I think I know. Okay, good. Yeah, I want to link those two, but they don't have anything in common. So I think all you need to do, so they're actually already linked through a path. So if you notice, there's a path from here to here, here to here, and department to locations. Fair enough? But the thing is that relationships flows downhill. So by default, so it's flowing down here, it's flowing down here, and this one is flowing down here. But I think you want to analyze the employee hours by location. So all you need to do is change this one to be bi-directional, and then you would be able to analyze your employee hours based on location. So I would say just try that. And again, this is good though. It's good to start off with one directional relationships and then again be very intentional about it. So now you're like, oh, I know what I'm doing, and I need to slice and dice my employee hours by location. I'll do that. So if you run into trouble with that, delete some of the other paths. You probably wouldn't, but just in case if you do, try deleting some of the other paths because it doesn't allow like a circular path. So I think you're okay looking at this. So Jannik, that would be my suggestion. Try that. Make this a bi-directional one and see how that goes. So what I'm going to do though is get rid of this file. So I'll move it to okay, and I'm going to go back here. Was it here? Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, that one is gone. Let's come back here. So, oops, where's me actually? I am over here, and I forgot to do the timestamp. Let's just do estimated one. I don't know, 35. Okay, let me go on the phone. So we'll kind of round robin it. So on the phone, if you have any questions or thoughts or comments, now would be a great time. All right, well, let's move on to Ankush's question. Is it Ankush? Yeah, it is. I'm pretty sure I saw his question come in. Oh, there it is. Ooh, hey, my friend. So that would have been really nice in an actual file, so I can grab it. But let's see. Above table is my raw data table. Okay, let's see. So if you can share that in like, I don't know, anything, Google Sheet, Excel sheet, OneDrive, something, that would help. So I am going to put in the timestamp right now. 48:06. Okay, Ankush. Is it the same question? Yep, it is. And I'm gonna grab. Oops. Come on. So that's my raw data, and I want below output table 2 to be my output. Okay. So Ankush, yeah, can you, gosh, I'll have to pretty much type the whole thing again to actually do it, but let me see. So you got name, you got token ID, you got date, and you got pay. Fair enough. And then, oh, I see. Well, but the question is, can it repeat? Can it keep repeating? How would you do this? Boy, that's a cool one. What do you think, guys? Man, that looks real fun. Hey, that's what I always say. Real data is messy. Real data looks like that. Let's try it. So I'm just gonna type some of the stuff in. Come on. Oh, what is this? All right, my friends. So let's go in here, and let's say name. By the way, that's a. I mean, I wish you had sent me the file itself, not a screenshot. Well, let's do this. A B C X Y Z and can't come up with stuff. Date, and this is let's say January 1, 2018, January 2, 2018, January 3, 2018, and pay 30, 27, 33, date, and let's just do solve for 2. Let's do 2/1/2018. There. 2/2/28. Oh, is it? Sorry, I think it was supposed to be the same one. So let me just do that. I got what's going on here. Date pay, 15/20/25. Off to the desktop we go. So hey, if you just joined on YouTube, say hi. If you're on Facebook, I'm not able to see those comments. Okay, where did my YouTube go? It's right over there. And I'm just going to save this file first. Where did my talk Power BI? So 2018, 0327. This one is by Ankush. Data. Come on. Okay. Oops, meant to launch the query editor. Anyway. Okay, and I'm gonna put, so we want date pay, date pay. Okay, guys, let's do this. Okay. So I did unpivot. So again, so I know Sachin had a good comment. Like I should explain what I'm doing, but it's kind of silly to explain if I don't know if it's gonna work. So so I unpivoted it, and what I'm trying to do is really if I can get rid of this one part and then pivot it back again. Would that work? That may work. Let's just give it a shot. So we'll say, so first I need to trim this 0.1 here, and I'm thinking of what's the fastest way to do this. The fastest way could be to split it. So I'm gonna say, oh, that's weird, no split. Oh wait, I have two columns selected. So this one, split column by delimiter. Where did that go? And dot and leftmost. I only expect one. And so I got this one, and I can remove this guy. And let's see. So I have tried pivot once, I think. Didn't get very far with it, but let's see. Let's see if I can do it. If I fail, then yeah, I'll kind of tackle this offline. But really, we're so close. We're so close with this one. So I don't know. Use names of the current column, create new columns. Let's just try it. Pivot column. So name. Oh, gosh, yeah, I don't think I can do it. It's yeah, I'm not. I know what I'm trying to do. What if we said pivot this column? Whew, aggregate. Date, pay. Sorry, so yeah, I feel like I'm so close. I know the transformation that I want. I just want to send the date and pay back in columns. Of course, you could do it a different way. So let's just try to do it a different way. I'm gonna reference this one, and I'm gonna say employee. Let's go back to this guy. Unpivot. Okay, let's go back here and add column and index column. Index unpivoted. Nope. Index. Oops. Unpivoted other columns. Name, token ID, and here I want index as well. Okay, that looks better. So employee date, and in here I'm going to say only give me date. Got it? Okay, so I got the date. And let's create another table. And again, I mean, I think we're taking like the long route. There has to be employee pay. And in here, we're gonna select pay. Okay. We'll see. So we got the date in this one and pay in this one. Desi Sam John. And what if we say merge, oops, sorry. So I'm going to say merge queries as new. And now I just want to try to bring them together. And merge it with a pay. And I'm not sure if the token ID is important. I didn't pay attention to that. Let's just do name and index, I think. Ooh. Yeah, sorry. I think I need to tackle this offline. I feel like both approaches I'm so close, but I don't think I'm going to solve it on a live call. Okay. So I'll catch this offline. Let me go on the phone. Hey, folks, if you have any questions, just unmute yourself, thoughts, comments. Just talk to me. And let me check in with all of you awesome folks. I spent one day to solve it, and it was on. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to solve it for you, my friend. So anybody I know worth their salt in Power BI, they can't, it's like if there's an itch, if there's an unsolved problem, they have to scratch it. So I know probably right after I get off this call, I'm going to be in this, and I'll post it on Facebook or I'll put it in the recap video. But I feel like we're so close in both approaches. But yeah, sometimes live calls. So when I started teaching, I would do live training. Did that for pretty much for 2 years. And again, we would use the company's data. And man, that upped the stakes. So I do it kind of rare, but I still always live classes. If you go to company, we teach using their data. And it makes it really challenging because you're wading into kind of unknown territory. And sometimes you make a fool out of yourself. And that's why I was talking, like, I don't explain steps until I know it works. Otherwise, there's no point. So sometimes I would be doing something and it wouldn't work. And I'll just say, guys, let's just take a 10-minute break, go get some coffee. I'm going to huddle in a corner, solve it, and come back and present it to you. So I think I just need a little bit of kind of focus time, and I'm going to get in the zone, and I'm sure we can solve it. Or maybe somebody else would in the Facebook group or on the call. This is pretty cool. And man, I love this stuff because, again, everywhere I go, show me a company whose data is all streamlined. There's nobody there. And again, in spite of millions, billions overall having spent on this, right? I mean, the goal of every data warehouse project, every BI project, what is the goal? Oh, we're going to streamline everything. You're going to have the finished data, and yep, you can just use it. Never happens. And it's not their fault. That's the nature of data in business. Guys, let's just admit it, right? I mean, let's admit it so we can move on and find a solution that works. So data warehouse, you can build the prettiest of data warehouse, but when the business user gets it, inevitably, I call it the last mile. There's always a last mile where they have to walk themselves. It could be something like this, something like the scenario that Ankush just showed us, right? It's always a last mile, and you gotta enable them to do that, empower them to do that themselves, not have to come back to IT, submit a request, and then say, hey, come back in 6 months. That's just silly. Give them the power, and that's what Power BI does. So we'll solve this for sure. But let me see. All right. So guys, I'm not seeing any new questions on YouTube. And again, on the phone, you can just unmute and talk. But let's do kind of a quick check-in. What do I need to talk to you about? Something else? So let's go back to, I'm just going to kind of recap the plan for this. Do I have a good page open? So day 4, I'm not really sure what I'm going to be talking about. What am I doing here? Hold on. So day 4, the plan was to talk more about DAX, and part of me wants to just present kind of a business scenario and showcase that. Part of me wants to just talk about filter context because that gives me a lot of angst because I feel like it's a very simple concept, but it gets blown up into this scary monster. At least that was the case for me. I mean, I had read all the experts and it was like, oh my God, this is so scary. And then when I kind of really got it, I'm like, really? Is that simple? So I may do that. I may, of course, that is all inside my course as well, but I may kind of just talk about it in the call. Or I may present a business case. Thursday, March 29th, doors open to my Learn Power BI course. If you are interested in joining the Learn Power BI family, as I call it, just go to, not here. Just go to learnpowerbi.com and click on the course button, and that's add you to the wait list. So yeah, just click on this one. What else? And so I'll be sending you more communication around what we're going to do for day 5 to give you an idea if you want to kind of get a feel of that. I've only done it once on YouTube. I have done it, I think, a few times with my class where I am kind of pretty much available to them all day. So where's the 7-hour? There's a 7-hour and 30-minute video. There's only one of those so far. so far. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is. Yeah. So this was 7 hour 28 minutes. On to the difference here is that anybody, all of you on the call, anybody really who signed up for the challenge are gonna have a chance to kind of call in and talk to me one-on-one. So like Ankush was, you would be able to get on the phone and maybe share your screen, share your file, and just talk. And so different folks ask me different stuff. Sometimes they ask me Power BI questions. Sometimes they ask about how their career or kind of high level about deploying Power BI in their organization. It's kind of your time and you can use it however you want. But for this one, we're going to be kind of live on YouTube. But you're going to be talking to me. All right. I'm going to scan another one. Okay, cool. I don't see any other questions. Jannik and Ankush, I want to thank you for your questions. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Power on.